All right, YouTube, time for occult literature video number 22, The Aurora of the Philosophers, one of the best, most well-known alchemical texts. It's not a spurious work, it actually is Paracelsus in origin. Theophrastus Bombastus himself, you could probably make a rap about that name. Link in the description to where you can purchase my edition off Amazon. Second link to my books blog where you can find a great deal of additional alchemical material as well as other things. The Aurora of the Philosophers is one of the better written works within alchemy. Specifically, it contains both the skeptical and the indulgent. It actually openly blasts certain well-known alchemists as frauds. It talks about counterfeiting. It talks about people who try to work with mundane rocks, cinnabar or something, certain herbs, and brewing it together to try to make gold, to try to make medicine, and so forth. And it completely condemns the entire thing. If you read this and other alchemical works, you'll have to understand that the processes and things spoken of, for instance, the mercury of the philosophers is not quicksilver. The sulfur of the philosophers is not common sulfur. The salt of the philosophers is not table salt. And in many cases, you have people even from the period who apparently didn't know what they were doing or didn't care, talking about these things and attempting to delve into alchemy. Most of the time, they were counterfeiting money. They were making fake gold or silver in some form or another. They were counterfeiters or they were charlatans. They were snake oil salesmen. They say, hey, take this medicine, it'll cure everything. And then after they get the money, they stay at the inn, they go out the back door, and then they disappear off into the night before people realize that the medicine was just piss or something like that. Paracelsus makes sure to notify the reader that that is in fact the case. He does, though, speak of the truth behind these things, speaking of the true fire of the philosophers, because it's not the common coal fire that people were talking about at the time. The vessels of the philosophers being not exactly the same as what people in many cases were using. And what you get, really, is that you're really thinking about a primitive scientific setup like almost a pre-modern laboratory in which these chemical interactions are taking place, as opposed to the lay people and to others, to frauds and so forth, who are simply grinding up their roots with some rocks or gazing into a crystal or something like that. Now, Paracelsus, of course, in some of the spurious works, he's portrayed as a literal wizard, like a Gandalf figure or something like that. But we see here he's openly condemning that what was even then considered more superstitious side of magic, or at the very least, even if he doesn't class it as just superstition, he makes sure to make a differentiation between the true alchemy, the true natural processes he was witnessing and he was working with along with others, and what the vast majority were doing, which was literally just fraud for various purposes, most often to gain money or notoriety. In multiple texts that I've read now, I think 3 different texts have mentioned the term receipts explicitly. They're talking about specific, very short alchemical manuscripts from this and later time periods, usually medicinal, that had no purpose. This is one of the better works, Paracelsus. Kind of hard to beat him when it comes to these topics. Again, link in the description to where you can purchase this work. Second link to my books blog. And in the last 2 videos, forgive me for being a little bit hoarse because the pollen count is very high right now. I do have allergies, so I'm just trying to muddle by here and not, keel over and just start choking on my own spit or something like that. Maybe I need some alchemical medicine to get through the rest of the day. That's about all. Peace out.